Financial dimension sets have several purposes in AX. They are used to determine how reports and inquiries related to the general ledger are rendered. They are also used to calculate balances during the posting process. Balances can also be scheduled for calculation or manually updated. Lastly, financial dimension sets drive the data that's displayed in the trial balance list page. Let's open AX and I'll show you how to create one and how to view the data related to one. Let's create some financial dimension sets, which are found in General Ledger under the Setup area, Financial Dimensions, and then Financial Dimension Sets. We'll start by taking a look at an existing example, such as Main Account and Business Unit. Here you'll notice that two dimensions are in the selected Financial Dimensions pane, Main Account and Business Unit. The sequence in which the financial dimensions appear in the selected Financial Dimensions pane is important. It will affect how transactions are sorted and the fields are presented on a report. For example, this Main Account plus Business Unit will be displayed as the Main Account - Business Unit. So, if my main account is account number 1010 and my business unit is 100, it would be displayed as 1010-100. Let's create a new financial dimension set by clicking the New button and then giving it a name. I'll create one called Main Account plus Unit of Measure. In the name field, I'll type out a more detailed description. Next, I need to select which financial dimensions will be included. First, I want to select the main account, and then I want to select my unit of measure, US, and then click the left arrow button. You can see on the bottom what this dimension will be displayed like. After you've created a new financial dimension set, it is important to initialize the balances. If you do not initialize the balances cannot be stored and updated for your financial dimension set. This is important if you want to view the balances in the trial balance list page or in other key financial reports. Let's click Initialize Balances. And in this case, I've created a duplicate, so I'll go ahead and update the description to include _US. And then I'll click Initialize Balances again. Here you can see that we're going to update this particular dimension set. And I'm going to click the Batch tab and run this in batch mode. If I wanted to set the time or recurrence for this, I can use the recurrence button. I'm just going to use the defaults and then click OK. You may want to consider using the batch job because this process can be a time-intensive process. Once it's been inserted into the batch queue, you'll receive an info log and you can close the message. After the balances have been initialized and the batch job is complete, the Initialize button is replaced with the Rebuild Balances button. The Rebuild Balances button is used to rebuild the balances in the case that there's an issue with the balances that are being displayed in list pages or reports throughout AX. You can also schedule the balances of a dimension set to be updated on a regular interval. For example, you may want to update the balances hourly or nightly. Let's go ahead and click Update Balances and schedule a recurrence. You do this by clicking the Batch tab. I'm going to process mine in the batch processor and then click Batch Recurrence to set up the recurrence that we want to use. I don't want this process to have an end date, so I'll select the No End Date option in the range of occurrence. And then in the recurring pattern, I'll select that I want this to repeat every 1 day. And then click OK. Once you click OK again, the batch job will be inserted into the batch queue, and now every day this job will execute to update the balances. Next, let's move on to main account categories.